What's going on, everybody? So just wanted to come make a quick video. I haven't changed much, but just 2025's rolling around. The last video I shot was somewhere around like September, October, just discussing my Helix and Tonex setup, and I've changed some stuff around. I am using some different amps, and I am using different drives, and so just wanted to kind of come to you, demo those a little bit, and then just kind of break that down, just some of the switches I made and why. And so using TeddyTones amps still. I was using tone factor presets for the Tonex with drives. I was using a Super Bolt capture for a while, and then I switched to their kilt capture. And honestly, just with the new amps, it just wasn't vibing with some of that stuff. I was just hearing a lot of things that I didn't like, and so I scrapped it, and I found some cool captures that are already on, like the TONEX.net stuff. So go feel free to search for those. I can't tell you exactly which ones I used, but anyways, this is the rig. Nothing's really changed as far as the presets and the stuff that I have set on the Helix. I've tweaked some drives, tweaked some modulation. Really the big changes with the Tonexes, and I want to run through that. And so if you've not seen my video before, I'm running effects through here with the send and return to go to the big Tonex for drives, and then it comes back obviously with the return, run through my amps, and then at the very end of the signal chain I run out of the Helix into the two Tonex ones, and that goes into the canvas, and then the canvas goes straight to my interface or goes to my racks at church, whatever. And so I'm playing today with my Gretsch Electromatic Duo Jet, and I just picked it up, and it's quickly became my number one. I just love the beefiness of the neck and just kind of all the body I get from the guitar. And so, and it fits the sparkle build, which is something that I've grown to love. So I'm going to run through my amps and my drives with no effects. So I only have some compression on and some EQ at the very end of my signal chain, so nothing fancy. Just cutting out some of those frequencies that I don't care for. And so I'm still running the Prince and Amelia Benson captures from TeddyTones. And so if you're looking at the Tonexes, the yellows are the Bensons, the blues are his new captures, which he calls Brad Mayer, and they're phenomenal. They're based off of a Grammatico PDR, which is pretty much like a Dumble style amp in a Princeton body, I think is what he's been describing. And then the Brad capture is based off of a Dr. Z-Rec amp, which is pretty much like an AC30. Just he describes it as being what the AC30 should have been. I don't really know the difference. All I know is they sound good, and that's what I'm using. So I'll show you kind of what both of those sound like clean, and then we'll work through some drives. So this is bridge pickup, Prince and Amelia. This is my go-to. This is what I run. Love the saturation and the warmth from it, and just have been using this for about a year with some just tweaking it here and there, but this is clean. So there's a lot of dirt there, a lot of overdrive already, with the amps breaking up, and that's what I love. I love being able to dial back off my playing a little bit more and pick a little lighter. So obviously it's kind of like really responsive. So when you dig in, really like punchy, but so kind of gives you, you know, the best of both worlds. I can clean it up, I can leave them dirty, but it's just the warmth, man. The warmth in the body for me is, and like how it saturates and breaks up as I punch. That's like, that's what I've always loved. And so those are the Benson captures. These are the that's Prince and Amelia. I'll call them by their names so that way people know. Prince and Amelia. This is the Brad Mayer captures. Still tweaking these, but they sound really good so far. Basically, the difference for me is the Brad Mayer captures respond differently to drives, and they're a little bit more gainy, I feel like, but there's a lot more top end, and so you get kind of like a sizzle that you don't necessarily get like from the Prince and Amelia captures. And I'm still figuring out how to use these, but I would probably use these more in a context of like if Prince and Amelia is just not working, I'm sitting low in the mix at church, and I just need something that's going to cut a little bit more. Like, and I can tell with like my ears sometimes that like there's just a lot going on. We're a mobile setup church, and so it gets a little, it can get really overly saturated and like thick and muddy really quick. And so these just help me sit in the mix a little bit better when I need it, and they cut. So again, this is Prince and Amelia. I'll run through those again. Here is Brad Mayer. So a little different vibe, and I'm like I said, I'm still playing around with them, but they're really good. They're really good amps. They sound really good, and the response feels great. I love how punchy they are. So for the sake of the video, I'm gonna play around with both, and I'll let you know when I switch. But so that's just stock. Like I said, just a little bit of compression and EQ, and then we're going to work through my drives. So like I said, I changed the drive section and what I was running. And so what I'm actually running now is I have an ODR1 based off of the Nobles drive. And a lot of guys that run TeddyTones and like kind of our group chat that we have, it's become a popular thing. I just love, I don't know, it makes my amps feel good in my hands. And that's the only way I can describe it. And so I wanted something that just, it was punchy and it fit my bill for a drive, but it didn't feel synthetic when I was playing it, especially with using the Tonexes. You just get a different vibe. And so, but it sounds really good. Tonex does a really good job with drives, and I think more people should embrace it because it takes up less space on your board. So here's the ODR1. Or I'll go, let's go clean first so you hear. With the drive. So definitely like kind of grabs it a little bit more, boosts the signal, and dirts it up a little bit, but not much. So again, clean with the drive. That sits really good in a mix. So like this would be like my first stage kind of cloud setting based off the Big Sky or whatever modulated reverb that you want. So this is what that would sound like. So really short decay, nothing crazy, and the mix is down pretty low, but it sits well with any type of drive or delay. So this would be kind of with a dual delay setting that I'm running for this particular song, and then the first stage overdrive. So I think it sounds great. Like, that's what I love. I love when it breaks up and it just like takes the amps and just rips them. So that would be my first stage drive. So again, just so you know what it sounds like, here would be clean. Here's the drive. So that's what I love. Pretty simple. The next stage drive that I'm using is based off the King of Tone yellow side, and it's just kind of like a next level up drive for me. So here would be the first stage with my ODR1, and then here is the lost my train of thought. So this is the King of Tone side. So ODR, King of Tone. So a little bit more volume. It punches a little bit more, and just enough to like take it to the next level. I don't need anything crazy, but just enough to give me that little extra giddy up. So that would be the King of Tone yellow, and then next stage is the King of Tone red side. So here's the King of Tone with the yellow, red. So terrible playing, but you get the picture. So I also add in, with that capture, I add in a boost block. So this would be without it, with it. So it just punches the volume a little bit more. And to me, that's where I just get like, you get into drive territory, like where I usually sit with what I run. And so here's the context kind of like a build. Let's just, so this song preset that I have on here is for Who Else. I think a lot of people are playing that now. So I'm running a cloud and a dual delay, so I have a dotted eighth and an eighth note delay, and it's just kind of doing this ping-pongy thing. And then I'll just work through some overdrive settings and I'll let you know when I change. So this would be my clean setting and kind of how I start off. Running on, I like to blend pickups a lot. I don't know why. That's just, I don't ever really run like at the top. I always kind of, I like kind of the middle position. So this would be kind of like coming in the song, pretty basic. And I'm just working through, we play it in G or G flat most of the time. I'm gonna play it in G for this time just because of the tuning of the guitar. And I would play start low, playing that little riff. Of course, then you can add on some drive. And it just depends where you're at. Like some days in church I don't use drive as much. Other days I like really have to kick it up. It just depends. So that's first stage drive. This will be without it. With it. So just a little gain, a little bit more volume, and then, you know, I could even go higher and leave it on the same drive and then just flip to the bridge pickup, and it changes the whole dynamic of this thing. So just splits again. Love how it just pulls those amps apart. Next stage drive. This is the King of Tone yellow side. And then here would be kind of like the lead tone with the boost on. So, man, I just love how it breaks apart. But that's pretty much like the essence with like how the drives respond. I'm really just digging it. For context, I'll show you what the Brad Mayer captures sound like with them. So this is my first stage drive with them. they're not as full bodied, and so what I would probably do is kick on my next stage of my reverb. So just adds a little bit. So here would be like the standard cloud setting that I have. Long decays with the delays, or the long repeats. Less reverb, more repeats. And then this would be my higher reverb setting. Definitely a big difference there. So like here would be my first stage drive with the first stage reverb. This is with the big reverb. This lasts forever, and that works good for like when I'm building in that bridge. And I'll kick on another drive here. So I would probably start driving with like the I couldn't be happier with where I'm at as far as the Helix goes. I think it's producing a great sound for what I'm doing, and the Tonexes are just a whole nother level, man. And the fact that you can get really cool drives that like you probably would have to go search for or find on eBay or Marketplace or Reverb or whatever, like it's a cool alternative, and I'm loving where the digital stuff goes. So anyways, that's the new stuff. That's the 2025 so far. If you have questions about any of the stuff, comment. Of course, do the YouTube stuff, like, subscribe. If you like the video, go back and look at some of my old stuff. I'm not the best filmer, and I'm learning how to kind of edit it and do stuff to be cool. I know in this video even I'm looking, my GoPro quit working on me for some reason, so you're probably not going to get as much of the pedal board shot in the last part of the video, but you know, tone is tone. You ain't got to see it, you just got to hear it and feel it. So again, if you got any questions, I'll show you some other stuff too. I've kind of updated my my modulation settings. So clean, this would be adding like a chorus in, which I don't use as much of. I like vibrato more. It is what it is. But here would be kind of adding a chorus in without it, with it. It's just warbly sounding a little bit, nothing crazy. The vibrato though is a whole nother ballgame, and it really changes how it sounds. Just takes it, rips it apart even more. And I like it for stuff like you could really kick it up and do some old Paramore. Get the decode. I don't even know how to play anymore. But so something cool. I have a POG setting on there. I don't use it as much. Occasionally I'll turn it on, like if I'm really just phasing out with a drive. Use it sparingly. So, anyways, ask questions if you got them. That's all I got, man. Thanks for watching.